Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right. Thank you, Mr. Producer. We are back, and I am joined by, of course, the Timothy Grossman Show. Timothy Grossman is here. Timothy, welcome back. Always love having you on, and love your show. And I am so excited today because I get to meet one of Timothy Grossman's number one pupils, one of Timothy's students. This is going to be cool. So first of all, let me welcome Timothy. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Oh, thank you for having me, Casey. I really love being here. Thank you so much.
So before we meet our new friend here, can you kind of give the audience a little refresher about what you do at a Source of Wellness down there in my old stomping grounds, Lexington, Kentucky, which is beautiful.
Yeah, horse country out here for sure.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we do. I teach Reiki classes, the Sui Holy Fire Reiki classes, as well as we do and coach mindfulness and meditation for individuals, and we also do healing sound through Tibetan and crystal singing bowls. And through this triad, we begin to help people fall into a space of meditation. And the Reiki acts and serves as a container for that. And you know, the intention here is to help people unfold into their authentic self, to the person that they strive to be. When we see people who are flourishing and just on fire in life, everyone has that capability. And so this is just a means for that to occur. You know, and it's similar to any other wellness modality. You know, it requires some self-practice. It requires, you know, some personal dedication, but it seems like we attenuate in that direction because it feels better than feeling stuck. So that's really where we're at. And that's kind of what we do. And that's why we're here.
All right. Now we have a very special guest today. Would you care, Mr. Timothy, to introduce us to our guest?
Yes, I would love to introduce to you Miss Michael Nash. She is a U.S. Army veteran. She was a crew chief on helicopters and what she likes to call sometimes medic. She worked with the Army, and she was also attached to the Marines in Iraq. And she is a mother of two beautiful girls, and she is a one who takes anybody in under her wing. Her husband's also a veteran, and yeah, you know, I just think she's a rock star, and I'm not going to say too much more. So I'm going to introduce Michael and Michael and Casey. I'll let you guys.
All right, Michael, welcome to the show, and thank you for your service. I always love to meet you guys. You guys are a special breed, incredible. But welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and thank you again for having me, and thank you for blowing up my head, Timmy.
So Michael, let me ask. I guess let me just ask: how did you first learn of what Timothy was helping people with, and how did you guys hook up?
Okay, so Timmy and I met a couple years ago in a PTSD clinic, an intense PTSD clinic that was offered that lasted 3 weeks, and Timmy was a very angry man. Okay. In all fairness, we were all angry. I'm not gonna lie, we were all angry, and we were just trying to figure out a way to readjust to not just civilian life, but civilian broken life. You know, so you know when you're in the service and you have to deploy, you prepare for the deployment, you prepare for the return, you prepare for your death, but you don't prepare for the broken. And it was really hard to deal with, and the anger was uncontrollable. So yeah, so we started with like doing meditation stuff and mindfulness, and it was okay. Made me feel a little hippy dippy, and that's definitely not me. And so then Timmy got into the whole Reiki thing a couple years ago, and he was telling me all about it, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you know what? If it's working for you, then do it. And I used to be really, really into art, and then I got hurt, and I had a shoulder fusion done. And I don't know if you know what's next after a shoulder fusion, but the only choice after a shoulder fusion is amputation.
Oh, wow.
So, but I went to the VA in Richmond, Virginia, Hunter Holmes McGuire VA Medical Center, and had Dr. Boardman. And after 8 years of, pretty much claw hands and no movement, and breaking the arm all the time because if somebody hit me, it would break. If I rolled on it, it would break. It was crazy. Anyhow, so he reconstructed the whole thing, and now I have movement, and range of motion.
Look
really
at that.
good.
Wow.
So, but I still wasn't doing anything that I loved. I also had some other injuries and whatnot. But so Timmy started doing Reiki with me. And then I started drawing again. And I was like, oh, okay, this isn't bad. Okay, it's not great. It's like a 3-year-old, but you know what? I'm having fun. And then the more Reiki he did with me, the more treatments I had with him, the more creative I started becoming. And then all of a sudden I'm whittling wood, I've never whittled wood before, and I'm making cane, and I'm carving faces into it, and I'm making crazy, and I'm making rosaries, but it's kind of weird, and I'm kind of mixing the religions, but whatever. But I'm doing all this crazy stuff that I never thought I would ever do again, because I'm 50 years old. Who's gonna, whatever. So, and then I'm like drawing in my sleep, and it's getting really good. And I'm like, not bad. Okay, I could probably work with this. And then, now I'm painting, I'm refinishing furniture, I'm doing all these crazy things now. And then I said, you know what? Yeah, it's making me feel a little hippy dippy, but you know what? I need to know more. So I told Timmy, I said, look, I really want to do this. He goes, are you sure? I know, right? Throwing at me. Yeah, I want to do it. And he's like, okay. So I took the class with him, and wow, it was so much more than I thought it was going to be. First of all, when we talk about the aspects of pain, I obviously have a lot of pain. I've been replaced from like the spinal cord down to the elbow and stuff, and whatever. But broke my back in a couple places. Had a really good time. Anyhow, but so when you get like a bee sting or an ant bite, and it doesn't just hurt at that point; it hurts like all the way around it.
Yeah.
And it's like that whole area is just sore. Well, we were going through the Reiki stuff, and all of a sudden, all my pain was starting to get just the bite mark or just the pinpoint. It was a lot easier to handle, and then like the positive flow of energy was so intense. I mean, so intense. And it was like every time we do like the deep meditations or whatever, it was like a new revelation, a new something. It was just crazy. And again, I'm a guilty Catholic. Not gonna lie, I'm a guilty Catholic from Cleveland, Ohio. My family is Italian. I was adopted, so that's why I don't look Italian. But anyhow, my family's Italian and very, very strict, Catholic. And so this was like, well, this might go against my religion. And then it turns out it doesn't. In fact, you have to have a relationship with whatever your version of God is in order for it to work. And I thought that was like, so what? So even though I may be coming across hippy dippy, I totally get it now. I totally get it.
Wow. You are a rock star. He's right. Wow. What a story. Thank you for sharing that. Timothy, when you first met Michael and you got to meditate, you guys started doing meditating, and that was the first thing. But I got to know, when you first started the Reiki, did I think you told me your hands they get warm over a certain area. Was it just in her shoulder, or was she blocked in other different areas? What was your immediate reaction to what you were feeling and doing?
Oh, Mikey's a medical mess. When because it broadens and deepens your intuition in a way that we're not used to understanding here in the West, because it's not something we're taught. But when I would do Reiki for her, I was like, man, oh, geez, I can almost feel the heat and the tingling and the magnetism, because you get these different sensations in her abdomen. Because I mean, she's not told you the half of what she's been through. And I don't want to violate your privacy, but can I explain a little bit? Okay.
A little bit.
Okay. So like she's had some things going on in the abdomen and her, the multi-systemic organs of the, the digestive system and so forth. So yeah, I mean, it was just like, holy crap. But that's where we hold the emotional pain. But also she's had surgeries there. She has, with the mental emotional space, she's grown a lot in that way, and you could see that. And so with each successive treatment, something just incrementally would shift. And yeah, she's right. She's like, oh, okay, Timmy, if it's working for you, cool. But then I was like, do you think it's okay if I help you with this? And that's when I started seeing her unfold. And it doesn't mean that, we don't still have, like, I still have chronic pain, but I manage it without wanting to break people's necks anymore. Okay. I just deal with it, and it's okay. I mean, I've got chronic back problems, and I'll sit on a meditation cushion for an hour, and I'll do bowls, and I'll lead meditations, and it's okay, So, but with Mikey, it's like it was just a little bit after a little bit after a little bit, incrementally, not just her, but her whole situation, her own personal dynamic. And see, I'm not maestroing anything. I'm just allowing it to flow and then sitting back and observing what I'm sensing and holding no attachment to the outcome, but just allowing, because that's what we teach our students to do. And then watching the transformation in the shifts was like beautiful. It, like I said before, you can't put a price on this. Right. I don't do this for money. I do this because I've always been a person who serves other people in service, as an advocate, and now as a wellness practitioner and an owner of a company. I put that together because I have to have insurance and all those things, and you have to be legitimized to work with the public. Right. But it really boils down to this one thing. When you help one person, it's like you've helped 3,000 universes. Because not only do you help that person, you are causing a ripple effect in how they interact with their family, with the people in the public, and that ripple continues. And we don't see that. And I almost feel like, when we're done here, this blip of time on Earth, it's not going to be how much money did you make, how'd you get over here, how many houses did you have, all that crap. It's going to be, what'd you do for the lady who was walking across the parking lot? That's Reiki. When you're helping somebody, that is Reiki. That is transcendent spiritual energy working through you, with you, to affect another person's positive being.
Incredible. And when Michael was telling us her story, the one thing that came that was abundant was that it seems like there was a time, Michael, where you got that confidence and that passion back for something that you used to love. Do you attribute that to Reiki? And then let me, after I ask you that, Michael, then I want to ask if that's common, if you see that, if that happens a lot when you work with somebody. So Michael, do you attribute this to Reiki? Because am I right thinking you got the confidence and the passion back for something that you really once loved?
Yeah, I definitely do attribute it to Reiki, especially the Holy Fire Reiki. But I also wanted to mention too, but I used to be left-handed. Now I'm right all the time. So it's definitely the Reiki, and more so than that. Okay, so I'm not the type of person that likes to take pain medication. If you ask me about recreational drugs, no, thank you. Because again, I'm guilty Catholic. So it's one thing to manage pain, but to control my anger, I mean, used to be when I went to the VA, I would have some issues and I would end up in that little room all by myself with a little tiny window, but the walls were soft, so it was fine. And I would have to sit there until I calmed down. Um, sometimes very long time. I don't have that issue anymore. It's, again, this is going to sound so hippy-dippy, whatever. So it's just like being flooded with love and energy. And then all of a sudden, I don't have to be angry. When somebody says something silly to me now, I'm just like, well, you're wrong, but that's okay. You have the right to be wrong. And I'm just like cool about it. And like I said, when I first met Timmy, he was like the angriest little guy I ever knew. Okay, I say little, but I'm like a midget. But anyhow, and then all of a sudden he's like Buddhist Zen, and I'm like, what is happening to him? I think I want some of that, But then, like I said, then everything started just flowing. It's so hard to even explain how much change it has caused, where it's like a whole different world now. And, I try to say that, I've always been very positive. And that's why I keep going. But I think mostly I was just very sarcastic, and I tried to hide most of my anger with my sarcasm and my sometimes snarkiness. And now it's just like, no, everything's okay. And I can tell people, hey, you're wrong, but you have the right to be wrong. And it's not coming across as being, snarky. It's just, well, tell me why I'm wrong. And I'm not used to that kind of reaction either. Well, tell me why I'm wrong. And, it used to be, well, you're wrong because I said you're stupid. And that's not anymore. I'm not saying I like people yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
But I have people now. It doesn't mean I like them, but I definitely have love for people now, which I couldn't tell you I had even 6 months ago.
Wow. Incredible. What a story.
Yeah.
Timothy, I mean, could you see this this progression happening, or one day did you just see, hey, this is what Michael needed, and I'm starting to really see a change as the teacher. Tell me what was going through your head when you saw such an amazing change, and I bet you just added 20 years to Michael's life.
Let me tell you this. Yes, I saw a gradual unfolding. And then I couldn't explain to her, and I wasn't going to explain to her what was going to happen when she goes through the meditations that we do. In Holy Fire, I don't, as opposed to the Japanese tradition, I don't do several different hand positions around her body or attenuate the attunement or placement myself. I guide each person into a meditation, very short meditation. I hold my energy back, and I allow the energy from the higher consciousness, what you may call God, Creator, Great Spirit, and I allow that to work with them. Okay, our ability as human beings to understand this is pretty limited, but it's still there, and it affects everything, and it is everything. It's all matter and energy, and so, but you say it if it sounds very esoteric until you experience it, and then with each person, it works with them on a level that they're ready to see, receive, experience. And when they come away from that, it's like, wow, everything I was seeing this way, like that 15-year-old I told you about, with it's kind of blinders on.
Yeah.
And then like owl eyes, it expands. And then you see things differently. And then it continues to work continuously and spontaneously. I would love to come to New York and do one for your whole team. And I think it would just be like, wow, but I think it's a solution to the epidemic of mental health and suicide. Not that it treats mental health in the way a therapist does, but if you work with this and you practice with it and you still see your clinical people, whether it's physical or mental health, your treatment trajectory is going to change. because everything they're working with you cognitively also comes through on the emotional level and on somehow a spiritual level.
I see.
I don't know if that.
Yeah, no. I appreciate that, and I want to see, Michael. Have you worked on, or do you have any desire to take the Reiki classes, become a master, and teach like Timothy? Because I mean, who better to learn from than someone who's had such an amazing, a complete 360, right, Timothy?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the thing you don't get. Timmy also had the 360, because I knew him before. So, but I definitely want to take more classes with Timmy. And I don't know yet if I want to teach. I mean, I would be more than happy to, help people. And I think this is a much better way than, letting them move in with me. But I definitely want to take this farther, because this has changed everything. And like, I see stuff now that I've never seen before, and I think in a weird kind of way. And again, if I sound tippy dippy, just go with it. I'm like the whole whittling wood thing. I've never whittled wood before. I don't know how I know how to whittle wood. I don't know why it's a thing. Making jewelry, I don't know where it comes from. I mean, I've made rosaries that have full-on sleeves, and you wear them around your whole body, and now I have this desire to just, I think if everyone has something, it doesn't even matter what it is, but something to believe in, and some type of love for at least their fellow man. Again, you don't have to like people, but you have to love people. And I didn't have that. And now, like, I think the world could be so much better if we could just be kind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. Timothy, is this common when someone is going through the process? It seems like there was a creative bomb let off in her. Not only getting back to things that she was once passionate about, but now new thing like whittling. She was saying she didn't even she never whittled before, but now she has a passion for new things. It seems like a lot of things that she didn't even know she had inside her were opened up. Is that a normal thing going through this process?
It is. Think of this. We all love to create. Human nature is to explore. Human nature is to create, and create in many different ways, and it helps us express ourselves. And this process helps people open their way to a complete and wholesome expression of the self in all the ways that matter to them. And then think about when you see a piece of art or you hear a piece of music and you can feel the soul and the spirit of that person coming through. You can't fake that. Right.
Yeah.
So you can't, and so it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. This is what it does for people, and that's how it creates wholeness, and that's why it's called holy, is because it's not a religious construct. It's to be made whole, and that is that's the evolution of Reiki that I've been talking about.
I'm so glad that you brought Michael on and we got to hear Michael's story. What a great story. I mean, that's one that's going to lift people up and, people think about during the day. Guys, we are out of time, but I want to thank first our special guest, Michael Nash. Thank you for sharing. It was really cool to hear, and I'm so happy, and you can see it in your face. It's really cool. So if anybody's saying that they have any doubt about this energy, I mean, come on. The proof is right here. And Timothy, I got to thank you. Let me give you the last word. First, Michael, anything that you want the audience to know, and I want to just say thank you for coming in and sharing. Really awesome appearance. Thank you.
Right. I just want to thank Timmy for even doing this with me and helping me along this path. And awesome. Again, thank you for having me.
All right. Anytime. Pleasure. Timothy. Now, it's the Timothy Grossman Show. So you got the last word, my friend, and tell us how to get a hold of you.
All right. Well, yes, my name's Timothy Grossman. I'm a registered Holy Fire and Karuna Reiki Master with the International Center for Reiki Training. My company is a Source of Wellness, a holistic health and wellness company. You can reach us at info@asourceofwellness.com. You can find us on Facebook at A Source of Wellness. And you can certainly reach out via text at 859-202-1771. I'd look forward to hearing from anybody. We do free consultations, and I love interacting with people and helping them, walking with them really on their path. And that's what we do. We walk with each other.
Awesome. You guys are great. Thank you so much. A great show. Can't wait to hear what you have to say next. I will be speaking with you soon. Thank you so much.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.